Most important thing, we get that fish back in the water very quickly. He's gradually beginning to power away, he's getting his strength back.
With a little help recovering, the fish swims away. Safe.
He's off in my hand. I'm good. Thank you!
Around the world, when extreme fishermen push the sport to its deadly limit, they take on the ocean's ultimate opponents. And in daredevil battles of angler versus beast, these monster predators are like stealth assassins. The thresher shark.
This is an animal that's built to swim fast. So they will pursue their prey at great speeds and then essentially sneak up, stun them, come back around and consume them.
Thresher sharks can reach mammoth proportions. Record setters have stretched over 7.5 meters, weighing over 340 kilos. And when it comes to the hunt, threshers wield a deadly weapon, their tails. Thresher tail fins stretch over half the length of their bodies.
I think of all the fish in the ocean, threshers clearly have the most unique way of getting prey. They swim right through a school of fish, knocking them around with that upper lobe of their tail fin, and then come around and pick up the injured.
This stunning attack style makes threshers a formidable foe in and out of the water. The same deadly design threshers use to deliver a powerful blow also helps them accelerate rapidly, propelling themselves straight out of the water. Any angler tough enough to tangle with a thresher knows they're in for a fight with some scary surprises. Add a surfboard into the mix, and it's fishing at its most extreme.
When you're fishing from a board, one of the exciting things about it is you're in their element, and that kind of levels the playing field.
La Jolla, California, July 7th, 1998. Extreme angler Scott Cherry sets out for a typical day of fishing. Yet Scott's idea of fishing was anything but typical. With rod, reel, and surfboard, he's on the hunt for sharks. From blue sharks to white tips, Southern California's a known shark lair.
You get into a battle with one of these things, if you don't know what you're doing, you've got your life on the line. You can really get yourself in trouble.
Though dangerous, catches usually stretch only a few meters, weighing just a few dozen kilos. But the surf angler has no idea the behemoth beast he's about to encounter. Paddling out to his favorite fishing spot, Scott casts and sets his line to troll from the back of his board. Suddenly, the angler sees something in the distance. Looking closely, he spots a fin. It's a shark.
I was doing that slow troll with the live bait and dragging that bucket of chum, and I looked off to my left and I saw this beast screaming along the surface for about 50 yards and then dove, and he disappeared, and just a few moments later I hooked up.
Unsure what he's hooked, one thing Scott does know. Whatever it is, it's a monster. It's pulling hard and fast. As Scott struggles to stay in control, his strategy is daring. Hang on and take a wild ride.
You just get this jolt of energy. It's pure adrenaline.
But as Scott fights to stay hooked and stay on the surfboard, he suddenly catches a glimpse of something frightening. A whip-like tail emerging from the surf. Scott's now certain this is no ordinary shark. It's a massive thresher, and it's on the other end of Scott's line. He's hooked a raging beast. Scott tries to hang on, pulling back to set the hook, but the thresher drags him across the water like a torpedo.
We just took off. I think at one point we had to be doing 10 knots. I knew this was a big beast.
Yet the thrill soon turns to fear. The Thresher is pulling Scott and his board over 8 kilometers out into open ocean. In these shark-infested waters, the Thresher's showing no signs of slowing down. Scott must take control before he's dragged out too far to make it back to shore. Yet stopping a fish in its tracks and turning it around from a surfboard requires tremendous strength from muscles already exhausted from battle.
The line was still paying out. So I put my thumb on the spool and put my legs in the water and kicked backwards a little bit and turned her around.
Through sheer determination, Scott's strategy works. With the shark turned around, the angler attempts again to reel in the monster. But the Thresher isn't giving in without a fight. For 45 minutes, Scott struggles, and just when he thinks things can't get any more extreme, he gets a better glimpse of his opponent.
This beast jumped and cleaned the water completely. And at that point, I knew that I had a big battle on my hands.
Incredibly, the epic combat rages for 3.5 hours. With what's left of his friend, Scott gives a powerful pull. This time, he's got it. The shark comes to the surface, caught. It's truly huge, nearly the length of the surfboard. Scott believes in fishing sustainably for food, but somehow he's got to haul this massive beast miles back to shore. And the catch is about to take a turn for the terrifying. Hefting the shark onto the board, Scott's careful to keep from tipping over. As he begins to paddle back, something brushes against him. It's another shark.
Felt something hit my leg, felt like a bat hit my leg. And I looked to ow! And I looked down, and there was a shark, just absolute frenzy.
Bull sharks, tiger sharks, and gargantuan great whites all call the southern coast of California home. Scott can only guess who's hunting him and his catch. Already tired from an epic fishing struggle, now nearing total exhaustion and fighting fear, Scott paddles furiously, trying to keep the hunting shark at bay. The surf angler never gets a close look at his pursuer, but he can feel its presence.
At that point, I was really moving on that board.
An incredible 3.5 hours after he set out, paddling back through shark-infested waters, Scott makes it to shore. Alive, unhurt, with his mammoth catch intact.
We brought it up on the beach and laid it down across my surfboard. It was almost the length of my 12-foot surfboard.
The Whopper measures 3.3 meters long and weighs 63.5 kilos. It's believed to be the largest fish ever caught from a surfboard. An incredible victory for a truly extreme angler.
It's taking everything that you've got. It's taking a lot of time, and it's when you finally catch the thing and you've secured it, it makes you feel like Tarzan.
Across a continent, when it comes to extreme encounters of man versus Whopper, nothing levels the playing field like taking the battle deep into the fish's turf. And for one adventure angler, suiting up and swimming out alone, it's the ultimate test of endurance, strength, and nerve. Skishing. Like an angler's triathlon, skishing combines swimming, scuba diving, and fishing. The master of the sport, Paul Melman. A pro who believes in stacking the odds against himself. Adventure angling pushed to the limit.
People often ask me why I just don't get a boat. Boats are bogus. What's the point of fun or skill in standing in a boat? I really enjoy putting myself in positions that are on the edge. I have no intention of dying in a bed.
Paul's most prized opponent, the striped bass. Able to stretch over 180 centimeters long, weighing more than 55 kilos. They're kings of their offshore domain.
The thing about striped bass is you get them into the surf, and they can really utilize water motion.